Okay, here we go. So, good morning. Today, what we're talking about is we are finding the discriminant. Okay, so it's a weird kind of word right up here. So we're gonna find the discriminant. Okay, so a discriminant is it's a kind of like a why is it blurry? Oh, it's really blurry. There we go. There we go. Okay. So the discriminant is something that you can find in any type of in any quadratic equation. Okay. So how we're gonna find the discriminant is by using this formula. So this is our formula. The formula is b squared minus 4 parentheses a parentheses c. Okay. So all that means is we take our b value and we square it, and then we subtract that from 4 times a times c, okay? And then once we do all of that, our final answer is the discriminant. Okay? So it looks a bit weird, it might look intimidating right now, but it's really not that bad, okay? So if you remember, right, a quadratic, what we've been looking at for the past like month now, a quadratic are always in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, and then remember we equals 0, right? We always have equals 0 because that's how we can solve it, okay? So all we're gonna do is we're gonna take the values from the quadratic equations and plug them in to our discriminant formula, okay? So we're gonna take the a, we're gonna put it in here. We're gonna take the b, put it over here. And then we're going to take the C and put it right there, okay? And that's it. And then we solve it out. Well, that's a bad arrow. But then we solve it out, we get the discriminant, okay? So you might be thinking, like, what's the whole point of this? What does the discriminant tell us, okay? So this is what the discriminant can tell us. It can tell us 3 things. So, right, so we get the discriminant, right? So we're going to get the answer. So down here, I'm going to write what the discriminant tells us. Okay? So again, like I said, there are 3 things that the discriminant can tell us. So the first option, so if the discriminant is positive, right? So say I plug in all of these numbers, right, and I get a positive number. So if the discriminant is positive, that tells me then the quadratic has 2 different real solutions. Okay? So an example of that is like, so for example, we could have, make it a different color. Our solutions could be x equals 5 and like x equals 3, right? Those are 2 different real solutions, okay? So what that would look like on a graph is, right, I have 2 solutions. So that means it crosses the x-axis twice. So it could look something like that, right? Okay? So if I find the discriminant of a quadratic, right, and the discriminant is positive, that means that quadratic has 2 real solutions, 2 different real solutions, okay? So it crosses the x-axis twice, okay? That's the first option. The next option, you slide down a little bit. So option 2, if the discriminant, oh, I spelled that wrong. Discriminant, N-A-N-T. Discriminant, it's a really long word. If the discriminant is 0, okay, then that means, so then the quadratic has one real solution, okay? So if I work all of this out, right, I plug everything in the discriminant formula, and I get a 0 at the very end, that tells me that my quadratic has one solution. So, for example, let me show you what that would look like. So, for example, my solution could just be x equals, say, -2, right? So what that would look like on a graph is we have this, right? Here's my x-axis. It would just come down and touch the x-axis one time. It has one solution, okay? So if you find the discriminant is 0, that means you're only going to have one solution in your quadratic, okay? And then third option, the last one. So if the discriminant is negative, then the quadratic has no real solutions. Okay, it has no real solutions. So remember, when you get this, all you have to do is write no real solutions. But what would it would look like on a graph is, remember, here's our x-axis, it would look sort of like this. It would never come and touch the x-axis, okay? It just comes down and never touches it and goes right back up, okay? That, if your discriminant is negative, so if you get like a -3 as the discriminant, that means your quadratic has no real solution, okay? Just kind of a key thing to kind of remember once you get to like algebra 2 and stuff like that. Although this has no real solution, let me write this down here. That comes like a little star. But if you have a negative discriminant, sorry, you have two complex or imaginary solutions, okay? And honestly, you don't need to worry about that now, but you will get into it in algebra 2, okay? I don't know, just kind of keep it in mind. It's kind of good to know, okay? So that's first page of the notes. Now let's get to some examples. We're gonna still use these like 3 options, okay? So, example 1. Let me flip to my page, there we go. So example 1 is going to be x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0, okay? Now I want to find the discriminant of that, and I want to know what that means, okay? What does my discriminant tell me, okay? So first things first, I need to label my A, B, and C, okay? Just like we've been doing when we had to factor and do all the other stuff, okay? So I want to know my A, my B, and my C, okay? So remember, A is whatever's in front of the x squared value, or your squared variable, right? So I have an x by itself. So my A is not 0, because remember there's an imaginary 1. So we can box that, my A is 1, okay? Now B, it's usually what's in the middle, right? It's in front of the x value. So remember, we also got to box the sign, because that means I have a positive 2. So here we can just write a 2, okay? If you want to write plus 2, that's fine. And then C, it's the constant, whatever's in the back. So here it is minus 15. So my C is negative 15. Here's where you really need the sign, okay? So I have my A, B, and C. Now I'm going to plug all of this into the discriminant formula. So the discriminant formula, remember we have parentheses B squared minus 4 parentheses A parentheses C, okay? It seems like a lot to put the parentheses, but it makes it a lot easier later on, okay? So now what do? Is we just plug the numbers in. So instead of B squared, I'm going to use my B. So I'm going to put parentheses 2 squared, okay? And I'm going to fill everything else in. So minus 4, that stays the same. But now instead of a, I'm going to put my a value, which is 1. So parentheses 1, okay? And then obviously c, I'm going to put my c. So I'm going to put negative 15, okay? So all I did was I took my a, b, and c and plugged them into the discriminant formula. That's all I've done so far, okay? Now, from here, you can type all of this into the calculator exactly as is, as long as you have the parentheses, okay? You can use an online calculator, or you can, I don't think you can use the one on your phone, but you could definitely use an online calculator and it could do this for you, okay? But I'm just gonna do it by hand because it's not that bad. So 2 squared, remember that's 2 times 2, that gives me 4. So I get 4 in front, okay? And then now I'm gonna go from the back. So negative 15 times 1 is negative 15, right? Now negative 15 times negative 4 gives me a positive 60, okay? So 2 squared is 4, this stuff all over here gives me 60. So last part, easy. 4 plus 60 gives me 64. So 64 is the discriminant. Okay, so that's my discriminant. I found that part. So that's part 1. Part 2, I want to know what that discriminant tells me. Okay, so let's write it out. So I can say, since my discriminant is positive, right? Because those are the 3 options. My discriminant could either be positive, 0, or negative, right? So obviously 64 is a positive number. So since my discriminant is positive, okay, that means that x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0 has 2 real solutions. Okay? Since my discriminant is a positive 64, it's a positive number. That means my discriminant is positive. Oh, sorry. Since my discriminant is positive, that means this equation, right? This quadratic equation has 2 real solutions. And that's it. We're done. Example 1's done. That's all you got to do with the discriminant. Okay? So, hope y'all got that one. Let's try another one. We're going to do 2 more examples. And again, I'm going to have these posted just like I normally do. So, you ain't got to worry about that. Example 2. Flip to the back. All right. So example 2, I have 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 equals 0. Okay? So, same thing, just like I did last time. Okay? A, B, and C. I know it seems repetitive, but it's going to help you out at first so you don't mix up your numbers, okay? Because it's especially with this formula with the b squared minus 4ac, you can get kind of confused. So just kind of write it out. You don't have to color code it, obviously, but it helps. So A, remember A is in front of the x squared, so easy, 4, right? B, so what's in the middle? Make sure you get the sign. So B is negative 4. And then C is the constant, positive 1. So A, B, C, easy. Now I'm going to write the formula again. So B squared minus 4AC. Okay? And then we just plug everything in. So instead of B, I'm going to put parentheses, my B. So negative 4 squared. Minus 4 stays the same every time. But instead of A, I'm going to put a positive 4, because that's my A. And then instead of C, I'm going to put my C, which is 1. Okay? So again, you can use the calculator. I'm just going to do it by hand because it's not that bad. Okay? So starting from the left, negative 4 squared. That is the same thing as negative 4 times negative 4. So a negative times a negative gives me a positive 16 on the left. Okay? On the right side, 1 times 4 gives me 4. 4 times negative 4 gives me negative 16. So I have a minus 16 on the right side. Okay? Now, easy. 16 minus 16 gives me 0. So 0 is the discriminant. Boom, box that in. First part done, okay? Now, this is the easy part. So, since the discriminant equals 0, I'm just going to write out equals 0, that means that 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 equals 0 has, if I go back to my little rules, since my discriminant is 0, that means the quadratic has one real solution. Okay? So, since the discriminant is 0, the quadratic has one real solution. Boom, done. Easy, okay? I'm not asking you to find the solution today, but we're just kind of introducing what the discriminant is, okay? So example 2, done. Just like that, okay? Hope that's not bad. One more, and we're done with this video. All right, example 3. And hopefully if y'all kind of see the pattern, you kind of know what's coming up, but I'm gonna show you anyway. So, example 3. Example 3, I'm going to have 3x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals 0. Okay? Same thing. A right here, B right in the middle, and C over here. Okay? So, A is what's in front. Boom, 3. B is what's in front of the x. Make sure you get the sign. Negative 5. And then C, the constant in the back, positive 3. A, B, C, taken care of. Okay? Then we go to the formula. So discriminant formula, B squared minus 4AC. And we just plug everything in. So instead of B, we plug in my B. So negative 5 squared minus 4 stays the same always. Instead of A, I put in 3. Instead of C, I put in another 3. Okay? And then we just work it out. Or put it in the calculator. I'm going to work it out. Negative 5 squared, that's the same thing as negative 5 times negative 5, which gives me a positive 25 on the right. On the right, 3 times 3 gives me 9. 9 times negative 4 gives me negative 36. Okay? So now here, go left to right. 25 minus 36 gives me negative 11. So negative 11 is my discriminant. Okay? Boom, part 1 done. Okay? And then now we just say what that means. So, since the discriminant is negative, right? Negative 11. So since it is negative, okay, 3x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals 0 has no real solutions, right? So that means it never touches the x-axis, okay? And that's it. We're done. That's it. That's all we can do with the discriminant, okay? So again, this is your assignment today. I want you to just watch the video, take some notes, and just be ready for the Google assignment when you get one, okay? If you have any questions, just let me know. And again, all the pages of notes are going to be posted on Google Classroom. Okay? Y'all have a good day.